Today I wanted to take a look inside All About Friends. This is a lovely hardback book aimed at ages 3+. It is $9.99 and this is part of a bigger series of All About books. So there are other titles such as All About Feelings, All About Diversity, All About Family, lots of really important topics. So this one is All About Friends. Covers important topics such as why do we need friends, how can we make friends, what makes a good friend, and what can friends do together. So let's take a look inside. It's a lovely, bright, colourful book, really engaging for children. Shows you here the kind of contents that are covered, some really important questions that are asked. And what I really like on this front page is these are the people that are involved in actually making this book, and it talks a little bit about who their friends are, which I think is a really cute touch. So it starts off with what friends are and why do we need friends, and I love this because it covers in a really child-friendly way actually the history of why we have friends and like the evolutionary aspect of it, which I think is fantastic. Talks about what makes a good friend, which I think is really important, and talks about who you can be friends with, and talks about making friends. And it talks a little bit about actually how children can approach that, because some children really struggle with making friends. So it's really nice that it gives some kind of tips for how to do that, and that's really useful. Talks about the kind of things that you can do together with your friends. Talks about friendship groups, and it starts to talk a little bit about the kind of politics around friendship groups, which children will experience from a very young age. So I think it's really important to cover these topics. So for example, it says in a group of 3, if one person feels left out or 2 fight over one friend, you could ask another person to join you to see if it evens things out. So really nice child-friendly tips for how they can approach different situations. Talks about how not to be friends. I think this is really important as well. It's difficult for children to learn how to be a good friend, and this gives them really nice accessible tips for how not to be a good friend to someone. Gives again some kind of strategies for how to deal with falling out with your friends. Talks about feelings and the feelings that you might associate with different issues with friendship groups, and then gives you again some strategies for how you might deal with those and some words that you might use. All of the books in this series as well, they're kind of designed to encourage conversation between you and your child. So there's questions that you can ask them as you go through to get them to share their thoughts as well, which I think is lovely. Talks about playing fair. Talks about how to fix things, so how you might say sorry. And it talks about how friendships change as you grow, even into adulthood, which I think is a really nice way to end the book. Then at the end, you've got a little puzzle, which I think is really nice, a really nice, engaging, kind of interactive way to end the book. And really importantly, there's 2 pages of notes for grown-ups talking about, why this is so important, how you can help your child, how you can use this book when you're having those conversations with them. So I'm a big fan of this book. As I said, it's aimed at ages 3+, so you can definitely start using it with really young children, but it will be suitable for much older ages as well because it covers such important topics in really accessible ways. It's $9.99, and as I said, there are various other titles available in this series.